Hey, everybody, welcome to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. So today, I want to come on here and talk about a few people. Christian Combs, who's been all over the news for a whole bunch of reasons, but I've been saying for a while since I did that video where this young lady on a yacht accused him of Christian Combs, P. Diddy, Shitty Diddy, Puff Daddy, Combs, Brother Love, whatever his name is right now. Was accused, a young lady accused him of sexual assault. And I say sexual assault because that's what it is. If if these allegations are true. Everything on Chanel's reality is, in my opinion, it is for entertainment purposes only, and it's all alleged. But I believe every cent of it. I sure do. I believe every second of whatever this young lady wrote in her lawsuit, and I ain't changing it. They would have to show me footage of her being on that yacht with him, the 24 hours, 48 hours, how long that young lady was on that yacht, and him not doing anything to her for me to believe that he didn't do anything. And it ain't changing over here. So if you don't like it, oh well, it is what it is. I work with sex crimes, so therefore I believe victims. Just is what it is. If there wasn't a need to believe victims, if all these victims just was chasing money and clout and whatnot, how do you explain all the victims that don't have, what do you call it, baby daddies or boyfriends or husbands or whatever with money and clout? How do you explain all the girls in the ghetto, in the barrio, in the trailer park, and wherever else on planet Earth who are getting drugged, who are getting their brains beat in, who are getting unalived and everything else in between by broke people or middle class people? It doesn't have an address. It doesn't have a class or a color or race, or it does have a gender. And the gender is male. Stop me when I'm lying about something. It just is. The gender is male when we're talking about violence against women. Is there violence against women like same sex? Absolutely. And that's for men too. But it is not heavily reported. It is not statistically high. That doesn't mean it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that. I'm not minimizing it. I'm just saying we got to stay on topic. What we're talking about here is violence against women. And if there was all this violence against men, why don't we have a Violence Against Men Act? We have all the statistics about how men treat not only women, but people in general, how they treat their children, how they treat their coworker, everybody. They just don't have a good track record, is all I'm saying. And Sean P. Diddy Puff Combs, Shitty Diddy. Look, I gotta plug up my iPad with my finger that I just had surgery on. Hold on. It's not an iPad, by the way. It's a MacBook. Oh my god. Okay. It's a MacBook. But anyway, sorry about that. But we've been talking about this man for months being a savage. And I really hate to involve someone's child in this debauchery and this savage case and everything that's going on with Diddy. But if you are having the same savage behavior that your dad is being accused of, then you got to ride with your daddy. Y'all are pot in the kettle in my book. And it ain't changing over here. I believe survivors. It ain't changing over here. It'll change when I see statistical information that there's been multiple studies done, 30-year studies, things like that. When I can see some empirical data that demonstrates that, there's just this overwhelming amount of men being treated poorly by women. When I see when I see this overwhelming amount of data that supports all of these women that are coming up off of some rich man. But let's be clear, like I said, if you want to call it about money and you want to say it's about status and clout, what about all the women that don't have no status and clout? Meaning the guys that they're dating, the guys that they have babies with, the guys that they're tolerating and all this other stuff. They don't have no clout. They don't have no money. They broke and they in between, middle class, whatever. So it's just like, knock it off with that bullshit. Just stop it. But anyway, we're going to start. So that's Diddy. We're going to talk about Diddy's son. His name is Christian Combs, being accused of sexual assault. Well, he was already accused. At this point, there's a lawsuit against him, in my opinion, from what I understand. And then there's Ashton Kutcher, who, listen, I always liked Ashton Kutcher. I always thought he was funny on that show. What's the name? But I can't remember if he did was it that 70s show? Before or after he did that show? What's the name of that damn show? Punked. Remember that show? I don't know which one he did first, but I really liked him on Punked. I really liked that 70s show too. It was actually kind of quirky and funny. And I liked him with that Mila Kutcher girl, whatever her name is. Mila Kut. I don't know how to say her name, but I always thought she was really beautiful and he's really cute. And I think now they're going to get a divorce. I don't know. And then we got to talk about Ray J. Ray J. I can't with Ray J. Apparently, Ray J say people are after him and things are being vandalized. But we're going to start with Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher. Hit that like button, guys. Show me some love if you can. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, I already shared my screen. So let me just push play. 1 second. Let's listen to this about.
And the co-founder of Thorn. We built software to fight human trafficking and the sexual exploitation of children.
Is there anybody out there who's wondering with me? Ashton, were you trying to figure out the machinations of the world in which the criminals were caught so that your friend would not be caught? Were you helping your friend to find more victims through this organization? To me, it seems wild that somebody would be so morally upright over here, yet on this side to be doing the complete opposite of what they were doing over here. Like a real Jekyll and Hyde situation, if ever there was one. Hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Diddy'S. This is going to be a short video because I kind of just want to see if you guys would be interested in talking about this with me. But I am dumbfounded that I can't seem to find anybody else talking about this. And maybe it's conspiratorial of me, but I really don't think it is. And I would love for you guys to weigh in on this and tell me what you think. If you're like me, your news feeds have been flooded with the Diddy story. And I'm not even looking into it. I mean, I'm not asking to see this. I'm not going down any rabbit holes.
Girl,
or I wasn't.
Stop it. You're in a rabbit hole.
I just keep getting bombarded. Everything is about Diddy, all the celebrities, all the clips, all the stuff from the past, and people coming forward and being like, oh, he's having these wild parties. You know, we got the Kardashians talking about how everyone was walking around naked at Diddy's parties, and we all heard it, and we all acted like we didn't understand English.
I didn't hear it.
I haven't been to bed yet.
You haven't? I want to be Clay when I grow up, Court.
I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m. Go to this party. I think half the people there were butt naked.
And I mean, even I remember her. I remember that clip.
Really?
I do like to watch the Kardashians sometimes. And I remember her saying that. And I remember even I thinking, well, that's crazy. But then that was it. I think all of us are conditioned to think that Hollywood's a crazy place, and we know it's crazy, but we don't think about the human implication of the craziness. And now we're finally hearing all these stories like we can speak English and we know what's going on. So all of us are collectively understanding that what everyone was telling us all along, all of these stories that Diddy was crazy as a sprayed roach, finally we're understanding what that means. And finally we're starting to hear all these people come out and actually tell us what was going on and how it was going on. And then it was not just like fun parties where people were drinking too much, but there was exploitation at the highest levels. And, you know, potentially people being blackmailed by being filmed as they involved themselves in these wild freak-offs, right? So you all know the whole story. And there's been two people I followed, if at all, about this story, because I found their stories most compelling. The first one was Justin Bieber, because I have enjoyed watching his trajectory. I was never like a Bieber fan. Like when Justin Bieber was singing his little songs when he was like a little kid, I was never into it. To me, I was like, who is this child? You know, so I've never followed him as a singer, but his trajectory towards faith and everything like that, I found that interesting. And I would love to do a video about him and this whole scandal, because there's if I've clicked on anything, it was about that, because I feel like he was so deeply exploited, and I feel like he has spoken of that in sort of shadowy ways as an adult, but he hasn't full-fledged gotten into it. And so that is the story I'm watching. But the other story, and the one we're going to talk about today, is one that I find interesting because of what people aren't saying about it, and I don't know why. And that story is about Ashton Kutcher. And to me, you guys, conspiracy bells are ringing. Now, you guys know that I like a little bit of conspiracy, but I actually think that this is so inexplicably true that I almost wouldn't even say that it's a conspiracy theory. It's just that nobody's talking about it. So I'm like, am I the one that's crazy? All right, so listen. You guys remember in February 15th, 2017, Ashton Kutcher sat in front of Congress and gave the most rousing speech I have ever heard.
My day job is as
I
the
remember
chairman
this.
and the co-founder of Thorn. We build software to fight human trafficking and the sexual exploitation of children. And that's our core mission. My other day job is that of the father of two, a 2-month-old and a 2-year-old. And as part of that job that I take very seriously, I believe that it is my effort to defend their right to pursue happiness and to ensure a society and government that defends it as well. But the right to pursue happiness for so many is stripped away. It's abused. It's taken by force, fraud, or coercion. It is sold
That is true.
for the momentary happiness of another.
And I remember when I saw it, I remember thinking, thank God we have some men in this world who are willing to go out and protect the women and children. So he had come to Congress to talk about his company and the necessity for funding for this company and others like it who were going after these predators, and that, you know, the darkness and the sickness that's out there, and that we have got to go in like surgeons and extract these disgusting people from society who are preying on our children, right? So it's the most rousing thing you've ever seen. And I, from that point on, was like, Ashton Kutcher, you're my man. Like, I loved that he was doing that. I loved that he was using his name for something powerful. I loved that he was using his money and his resources and his know-how to do something that was helping society. And so I always had super favorable feelings about Ashton Kutcher after that. And then last year, inexplicably, he decided to support his friend, Danny Masterson. Now, it's not inexplicable that he'd want to support his friend, but in the face of the evidence that Danny was a rapist, it seemed wild that he would keep being like, I got to be faithful to this friend. I got to be faithful to this friend. And not just him, but his wife, Mila Kunis, who was also on that 70s show with Danny. They both wrote letters to the judge about Danny.
I remember this Danny guy. Hold on. Now I want to put a picture of Danny because I have him on my thing. Danny. That 70s. Yeah. I remember this guy. Y'all remember this guy? Let's see. This is Danny. Let me share my screen. Y'all remember Danny? Danny, this guy right here, he's been accused of sexual assault. I don't remember if he was found guilty though, but I believe he was. But I could be wrong about that. So that's alleged. I know he was accused, but I don't know if he actually was found guilty. Anyway, what did I just exit out of? Okay. So back to the Ashton Kutcher. So what that lady is saying essentially is that if your friend is being accused of sexual assault or really of rape, how do you stand by that person? Now, I guess at the beginning, if that's your friend, that's your boy, whatever, if that isn't something you believe about this person, that just doesn't seem like that's their character, that's your friend, your bestie, whatever, I do understand initially standing by that person. But once evidence has entered the room, I don't understand how you still stand by that person. Unless that person is your child, or I don't think I could. And I don't have kids, but I just don't think that I could do that. If there's proof that you sexually assaulted somebody and you are also my child, I just don't know that I could still have you in my space, because then at that point, who are you? You're certainly not the person I raised. If it's my friend, you're certainly not the person that I thought was my friend. So I'm gonna have to let you go. But that's just me. Anyway, let's keep going.
Danny's character. Well, you know, the gangs came for them with the pitchforks and the torches, being like, what are you talking about? He's a rapist, you know?
Right.
And so Ashton Kutcher was roundly dragged through the mud for supporting Danny. And it's shocking that he would, because considering what he did as his day job,
Right.
it would seem to me that he would know the signs of a predator and that he would not support that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so many people were upset and indignant that he would support Danny that he just sort of quit his day job, as he referred to Thorne, and stepped down and wrote this letter to the board and was like, I can no longer be associated with this company because of my egregious errors and supporting this former friend of mine.
Yep.
And I guess I just can't tell anymore who is the bad guy. It was it was just weird to me, because I thought, you need to step down from the board of this worthy company. You're going to step down because you made an error.
So I'm not gonna, okay, I definitely would disagree with him continuing a friendship or relationship or whatever with a person who is being accused of rape. I'm gonna need a moment. I'm gonna need to see the evidence. I'm gonna need, those type of things. And especially, so this is the part that I have a problem with. I told y'all many times on my channel, I've worked with people my whole entire adult life that have been sexually assaulted and sex crimes and things like that, right? So I've said a million times that the victims look exactly like the perpetrators. Sometimes the perpetrators look just like the victims. Sometimes it's very difficult to be able to determine. That is truthful. I don't think we should throw him under the bus because he's saying there have been some mistakes that I've made in this journey, and I'm a part of this organization that's battling, to eradicate sexual crimes or sex trafficking or whatever, right? I think that's the right thing to do, to say, you know what, I made some mistakes, I said some things, or I supported a person that I shouldn't have because I believed in them at the time, and because of that, I don't want to drag this company or this organization down with me. I think that's admirable, but I also think that they probably told him, you need to get the fuck on. We can't have Michael Jackson on a committee for an organization to save children from pedophiles. We can't. Rest his soul in peace. But you've been accused multiple times of sexually assaulting children. I can't have you on the committee. You shouldn't want to be on a committee. But then there's that, right? People who are sexual predators, of course, they want to be around their prey. Y'all remember that guy, Judge Kavanaugh? He's now on the Supreme Court. Remember when that lady, I forget what her name is, but she was a whole ass doctor. And when he was they were trying to confirm him, that idiot guy from, oh God, where is he from? Kentucky? Ugh, I can't with him. But anyway, he was the majority leader of the Senate, I believe, for many years. And he was trying to get this man confirmed. We need to get him confirmed, this sexual predator. And they drugged that lady. Oh, this happened 25 years ago. Why you didn't say it? Da, 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 all the things that they do to try to, terrorize a witness or a victim of anything, especially when it's a woman. If she has a vagina, she got to be lying. She got to be helpless and just needs the, comfort of a man, or can't do anything for herself. So she just got to go be wanting to destroy some man's career. It's like, girl, knock it the fuck out. Why don't we question the perpetrators or the alleged perpetrators instead of trying to basically shame a victim within an inch of their life? Check your attitude. Ask yourself, why is it that you do that? I know why. I can tell you why. I start with, let's question the predator, because I've worked with so many of them and they're sick human beings. I start with the predator too, because we have laws that protect predators and not the victims. Go look at the statutes of limitations in your country. I mean, in your county, in your state. Go look at them. Go look at it federally. Why do we even have laws to limit the victim and not the predator? Thinking about doing my dissertation on that. Yeah, she's thinking about getting a PhD. Get into it. I'm into it. I don't know if I'll get it, but we gonna listen. I'm throwing my hat in the ring. But legit, like, why does our society do that? Because men are the ones that put the laws in place. You're gonna do something to protect your own self-interest, right? And then women get on here and don't protect. They do things against their own best interests. How many women do you know, have you met in your lifetime, that when Bill Cosby was being accused, when R. Kelly was being accused, when Epstein was being accused, Weinstein, whomever it is, we need to wait and see, and she was a hoe anyway, and da 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 da. How many people you know talk like that? Those same women come to the front. If you're in my chat or my audience, you watching this video, come to the front. You're the reason that your child, your niece, your granddaughter, whomever, ain't ever gonna tell you that daddy touched me, or brother touched me, or uncle so-and-so touched me, or the guy at church touched me, or your little son, either or. They're never gonna tell you because you're so ignorant, walking around as if this person can't be guilty simply because they have money, power, or influence, or fame. That's idiotic. Like I said, use both sides of your brain. Like, that's idiotic. 1 in 4 women will be sexually assaulted in her lifetime. So count the women that you know. Every 4th of y'all, 1, 2, 3, 4, sexually assaulted. 1, 2, 3, 4, sexually assaulted. And those are the ones that actually reported it. That's based on statistical data that's been reported, empirical data. That's not based on all of the people that actually have been sexually assaulted. So back to what I was saying about Ashton Kutcher. I think he did the right thing. Whether or not he wanted to do it or not, that's, up for debate. They probably told him, you need to remove yourself from this, because it's not only a distraction, it sounds like you're a hypocrite. I'm sorry, I don't have kids, but I would, if they're in my purview, if they're in my family, if they're in my custody, whatever it is, like if I'm somewhere teaching them something, whatever it is, I'm going to do my damnedest to protect them. That's just an instinctual thing. Same thing with victims. That's what I'm going to do. So if you put yourself in a position with an organization that I assume he either developed or was part of, building, whatever, and then your friend is in this situation, you gotta say, yo, you gotta figure this shit out. And until you figure this shit out, you gotta stay away from me. I love you. And if you're telling the truth, I'll be there for you when it's over. But for right now, for the purposes of what's going on, what you're being accused of, I can't rock with you. I got kids at home. I can't rock with you. Period. Now, I don't think he was being accused of doing anything to a child. So let me be very clear about that. He was, from my understanding, and like I said, it's all alleged, he was being accused of rape of an adult, if I'm not misunderstanding it. The guy from that 70s show. So Ashton Kutcher was getting so much heat online, he was like, I gotta step back from this. So he stepped down. And this young lady on her YouTube, she's basically saying, why would you do that? And I don't know if that's right. And I disagree with that. I think that's the right thing to do. Personally. If you're distracting people from the purpose of the organization's mission, and it's in a bad way because you're associated with someone who's being accused of rape, yeah, you probably do need to step down. And it's the right thing to do. But I don't think he should step down permanently. I think he could still be attached to it. There's too much going on right now. You need to figure out your situation with your friend. And then if you could figure that out, maybe later. Anyway, let's keep moving. Let's keep going.
In judgment concerning a friend of yours? I mean, I think most of us could at least say, okay, maybe open your eyes a little bit, okay? Because there's a lot of evidence that this guy was no good. But he was your friend, and I understand trying to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. If he had come out and been like, I was blinded. I was blinded by my friendship. I didn't want to believe those things were true. That's not who I knew him to be. And so it was just really easy for me to assume that what I was hearing were lies and fabrications. I regret that I did it. But do you need to step down from the company? And I remember at the time thinking, that seems like you're just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Couldn't you just issue a very clear apology? But do you need to stop doing good works? Right? So I remember thinking, that's weird. And now finding out that his relationship with Diddy is such that he was friends with him for 20 years and went to all of these parties with him. And we know this because he said that he was at parties he can't even speak about. He could not even share the things that had happened. I'm sure you guys have all seen this clip.
Wow. Okay. I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment. So it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table. He's like, not me. I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football together.
Stop smashing Amazon's buy button and start getting Amazon to pay you instead, but not by.
So what is that about? Am I correct? Why are you not able to tell us what was going on? And if it had just been like some wild partying and there's been some drinking going on and some drugs, I mean, it's like, what celebrity isn't drinking and on drugs, right? And I think most of us would be like, well, you know, Hollywood's a crazy place. But Diddy was involved in human trafficking, the very thing that Thorne was supposed to be making sure that you weren't doing, and they were going after the predators. Now, hear me out when I say this, my friends, okay? Allegedly is what I say to all of this, okay? But this is my thoughts and feelings and wonderments, and this is where conspiracy begins. For somebody to have a friendship for 20 years with Diddy, a close friendship, not one where they kind of saw each other sometimes at award ceremonies and were like fist bump, you know what I mean? Like real friendship at all the parties, constant pictures. I mean, he was everywhere with Diddy. They were like this. It's not like he didn't know what Diddy was up to. And yet he's developing software to find the predators for the trafficking. Yet one of his best friends is a trafficker. And then suddenly he can't be part of Thorne anymore because he made a bad judgment call about a friend. Maybe the reason he stepped down from Thorne is because he realized that one day it was going to come out that this, you know, child trafficking organization that he had developed was a real way to help his friend Diddy not get in trouble. Is there any part of anybody who wonders if Thorne wasn't really just a way for Ashton to help Diddy get ahead and not get caught? Is there any, I mean, it's like, I know that's wild because when you watch him talk in Congress about the whole thing, he seems genuinely crushed by what he witnessed. It's hard to imagine that there's anybody out there that could be that dark and twisted that they would develop a company that looks to solve the problems and to prosecute the predators who are hurting children, to then be associated with this person who is trafficking human beings. Why is nobody talking about the fact that Ashton Kutcher's company was about trafficking, yet his best friend was a trafficker? Is there anybody out there who's wondering with me, Ashton, were you trying to figure out the machinations of the world in which the criminals were caught so that your friend would not be caught? Is there anybody out there who's also wondering with me, were you helping your friend to find more victims through this organization? To me, it seems wild that somebody would be so morally upright over here, yet on this side to be doing the complete opposite of what they were doing over here. Like a real Jekyll and Hyde situation, if ever there was one. I don't know what I'm seeing, and I don't know why nobody's talking about this. Is anybody else curious about this? And are people talking about it and I just haven't seen it because I haven't gone down the right rabbit hole?
So listen, I agree with her, but I think I feel the same way about Beyonce and Jay-Z. I do. And yes, I had surgery on my hand today. So this is why my hand looks like this. I'm thugging it out over here though. Because I got some good medication. No, I actually haven't even taken my medication yet. But I guess I still have the what's that? Anesthesia. Anyway, I do. I feel this. I have to feel the same way about Beyonce and Jay-Z. I have to, because it's like y'all at this man's parties. Y'all got business dealings. You're intertwined with him in so many different ways. I'm not saying that because you do business with someone or because you know someone, even if you know them intimately, that you automatically are going to be privy to whatever sinister things they got going on. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's hard to believe that you're that intertwined and you don't know nothing. And I would say I could even roll with maybe Beyonce didn't know, doesn't know, whatever. I'm not saying she did or doesn't. I'm not saying Jay-Z did or doesn't. But I am saying this. Jay-Z and Foxy Brown. Jay-Z and Aaliyah, rest her soul in peace. Jay-Z and all of the other women's, the Becky with the good hair. I mean, Beyonce the one said it in her song. I ain't sorry. She talking about somebody. She said he only want me when I ain't there. Just saying. Then turn around and said it's $1 billion on the elevator. Or maybe she said that first. I think she said that part first. Because Solange was beating the brakes off Jay-Z in the elevator. I'm just saying. If we just had sound for that video, man. Anyway, so it makes it very difficult for me to believe that they didn't speak the same language, Jay-Z and Diddy. Y'all are both seemingly sex offenders. If Foxy Brown was 14, 15 years old and you were putting your face in her puss and, you know, putting your schlong in her puss, she can't consent. She's a minor. And you 20 something years old. I think at the time he might have been 27, 28. Allegedly. That's what's always been alleged. Well, I'll say this. Foxy Brown was on some interview and I heard her say it out of her mouth. So go watch that interview. It's on YouTube. She did. She said it. And I think she wrote it in a song, one of her songs, one of her raps or whatever is in there too. But anyways, that's why it's hard for me to believe that Jay-Z doesn't know or didn't know, didn't participate, and Beyonce didn't know and didn't participate. Another big reason is he did a whole ass CD with R. Kelly, who is a known pedophile. He's in prison. He's convicted. So, listen. If it don't add up, there's a lot somewhere. How are you associated with at least 2 pedophiles? And that's at least 2. Now, Jaguar Wright got on Piers Morgan and said he's also associated, when she said Jay-Z, she said he's also associated with Epstein and Weinstein. And I think Bill Cosby too. I'm not sure about the Bill Cosby part. But yeah, he's associated with, how are you associated with at least 5 major or 4 major sex offenders? How? Alleged sex offenders, whatever. How? And you don't know nothing? That's why Eminem, not Eminem, Lord, but Eminem called not Jay-Z out, but he's called Diddy out 100 times. Because he said in his song Kill Shot, when he was making that song about what's that guy's name? MGK or something like that, Machine Gun Kelly. And he was like, but this idiot's boss pops pills and tells him he got skills. That's what he said in that song. He's talking about Diddy. So M clearly knew. He also called Diddy out in that song, saying that what did he say? The day that Kells gets a hit is the day that Diddy admits that he put the hit out that got Pac killed. I'm sick of you being whack and still using that motherfucking auto-tune. So let's talk about it. He killed him, MJG, whatever that guy's name is. Machine Gun Kelly, he killed him in there. I was like, bruh, leave M alone. Okay? Because M is not the one you want to battle. Not in a battle rap. You don't want to do that. But he called him out. And then when 50 Cent put that milk carton out and said he put Jay-Z's picture on there talking about misting. That shit is funny. I'm sorry. It is. It's funny because it doesn't make any fucking sense. How is all of Hollywood on mute? How does everybody don't have nothing to say? Ashton Kutcher, it comes to the front. I don't understand. It has to be. I've said this for a while now. It has to be. I think the thing, a lot of people say, well, Clive Davis is the one that told him. I think Suge Knight has said it, or a few people. Listen, my theory is that whatever Clive Davis told Diddy, if Clive Davis and Diddy, in fact, were in some sort of whatever it was, if Diddy had to do something to get the money to start Bad Boy or whatever, and Clive Davis was the one that provided it to him, and everybody's saying it's because they were having some sort of sexual whatever it is, I think what Clive Davis gave Diddy, if he did indeed give him anything, was this. The way you run this business, the way you stay on top, is blackmail. period. And since Diddy was already in my mind sinister, you can't be a person that resides in the light and have all that darkness come out of you. You just can't. So to me, you already got to be that person. I don't think nobody's going to be able to convince you to be a serial killer. You just kind of already got to have that in you, period. That's how I see it. And it ain't changing over here. So if you give someone who already is probably likely sinister the game, which that's the game that I believe Clive gave him, which is do whatever the hell you want to do, but make sure you get him on film doing it. And all Diddy, in my opinion, probably added to it was drugs and alcohol. And now that everybody has a cell phone, because think about it, I think what's his name? Jason Lee said that when he went to a Diddy party, and this was, I feel like it was either right before the Diddy stuff came out or right after the Cassie lawsuit was dropped. He was like on his, I don't remember where he was, but he was on somebody's podcast, or he might have been on his own podcast, and he was saying something like, when he went to the Diddy party, he was like, Diddy has his own security at the party. You are not allowed to bring your security. And I thought to myself, and this is before I knew all of the stuff, because I never thought Diddy, I never heard of Diddy being gay. I never heard of him being a sex offender. I never knew none of this. Not 1 ounce of it. Not ever heard anything, never, until the Cassie thing. And I was like, whoa. But when he said that at the time, I was like, well, that's smart. If you are a person who wants to guarantee to your celebrity friends that none of this shit that you do here at this party is going to get out, you make the same rules for everybody. The only people who can have any type of camera is me, my security. That's it. That's all. And so when you hand over that type of power to a person who clearly works in darkness, this is what you get. Now, that's to the people who did that. I'm not talking about the people who came there and was given a drink and didn't know that that's what was going on. I'm not talking about that. Because maybe they just felt like, we go to this party, that party. That's something that's happened before in other parties. And I didn't leave there and wake up naked somewhere at 3 a.m. or don't know how I got home, or, wake up and I know I've been sexually assaulted. And don't know what all of the things that I did because I blacked out because somebody gave me crank or ketamine or whatever it's called, or meth, whatever he was doing over there, whatever he was putting in those drinks or people were partaking in. I'm not talking about the people that were drugged and didn't know it. Meaning didn't know they were drugged, initially felt a way, and then don't have no memory of maybe what took place or what they partook in while they were there. The thing that I have a hard time understanding, though, is if I am a person who does drink, or a person who is in the industry, a person who wants to mingle amongst the people who have the money and the power, because I don't refer to these idiots as the elites. I hear all kinds of people talking about, oh, the elites. Elite what? What makes you fucking elite? You're not better than me because you have money. There's tons of people that are born into money. Does that make someone better than you? No. You're not better than me because you were born prettier. You ain't had shit to do with how you were born. Okay? Be very clear about that. Now, if you're Kylie Jenner, no shade to Kylie, but if you're born with a certain face and then you go get a different face, you go tweak it, you do whatever it is, no shade. Do what the fuck makes you happy to make you feel good about yourself. But we still gonna be clear about it. You're not better than me because you had a doctor fix your face. Sorry, not sorry. You're not better than me because you can wear Gucci or Louis. So can I. So these people walking around talking about the elites, I don't know. Is that code for people who are assholes? I don't know what you mean by that. Because I'm God's favorite. Ain't none of you bitches better than me. I don't look at it that way. I congratulate people. I am a person helping you win. I'm a person happy that you're winning, not a hater. I don't understand it. But I don't understand how if you go to this man's party and you end up sipping on something, whatever happens, somebody gives you something, slips you something, and because a lot of these people said they took one sip of something and they immediately knew, I am so drunk, or I am like, this has never happened to me before. If you end up in a situation like that and you don't know what happened, how you got there, this is not normal. I've had a drunk night before with my girls or whatever, and I never woke up like this the next day. How do you then go back? That's the part that I'm having trouble with. The only thing that I can come up with is if you are drugged at a party and it's a Diddy party or some sort of party like that, and you want to know what the hell happened and you find out what happened, or you ask and they tell you, yeah, this is what happened. And if you say shit, then we're going to ruin your career or we're going to put this tape out, blackmail, you know, I can see why I can see how you would then say, okay, I'm not going to say anything if you don't want your career ruined or something like that. I could see how that might happen to somebody. What I don't understand is why you continue to participate. I'm not talking about a person like Cassie, who to me was just, she was a prisoner in my opinion. She tried to leave, couldn't leave, much like Kim Porter, in my opinion. I don't know their stories. I don't know these people. I don't know none of these people. I don't know. I wasn't there. But my opinion is Cassie was the person who was in bondage. She couldn't get out. And people will say, well, she could have left. She liked it. Okay, whatever. To all of the same women that are in the ghetto and wherever else that could quote unquote leave. Let's say that's all of the women that do leave. Because if you look at the statistical data, it takes 7 times, usually, typically, for a woman to actually leave permanently from an abuser. Money or not, clout or not, career or not. Let's stop making excuses for the perpetrator, is all I'm saying. But anyways, so I don't really understand that. Like, what did you come back? That I can't wrap my brain around. I can wrap my brain around. I'm gonna leave this alone because he has me and he's blackmailing me, and I'm embarrassed. I don't want this. I don't want my children to find out, or my husband, or my family, whatever. I can see that. I don't understand why you would return to a party like that. I wonder if any of these people like J-Lo or all of the people that really kind of were around Diddy, like Ashton Kutcher or whatever, how you say that. I wonder if the Southern District of New York has reached out to these people. Y'all think? I wonder though. Let's see. There's another video I wanted to share with you guys. Let's see. I guess we could talk about Ray J. Ray J is a whole ass mess, is all I'm gonna say. So I'm gonna start here. It says, hold on, let's see. Ray J shows vandalized car after claiming someone tried to shoot him. Ray J recently sat down with the pastor Jamal Bryant, where he claimed that he's been living a false life and that the people who control him would come and kill him. Oof. I'm gonna read that again, child. It says Ray J says, hold on. Why did they say that? Why did they write it that way? Anyway, Ray J says vandalized car, or he shows vandalized car claiming someone tried to kill him or tried to shoot him. Ray J recently sat down with Pastor Jamal Bryant, which is Giselle Bryant from the Real Housewives of Potomac's ex-husband, I believe, baby dad, something like that. But he basically is claiming that the people that control him are trying to kill him or have done things to. My problem with Ray J is Ray J, come to the front. Brandy, come to the front too, girl. What? Get your brother. Get your brother. Ray J claims someone has vandalized his car just weeks after he said someone tried to shoot and kill him. Wow. On Monday, the singer shared a post on his Instagram story showing his car window cracked and coming off the door. He offered no more details besides giving his followers a clear view of the damage. This is what y'all want to do to, oh, he says, I guess this is a quote from Ray J. This is what y'all want to do to me? That's what he sounds like he would say. I got car seats inside for real, said Ray J. And as he walked on the shattered glass on the ground and displayed the broken window. That's what it's come to, you know? And for what I'm trying to do. That's crazy. And it's unfortunate. However, I have a feeling Ray J's not innocent in none of this. I do. But Brandy, girl, come get your brother. I can't. Ray J, you too grown. And I'm like, listen, I don't like Russell Simmons, but didn't Russell Simmons get his ass on the whole ass plane and take his ass to Bora Bora some damn where? He went on set on the island. And he's like, I'm chilling the fuck out. I'm not, listen. They're gonna get him. They're gonna get him though. That's what I don't understand. It's like, do you want to be, you want the attention, you want the likes? Like, why are you? I understand posting things and making it public if you want safety. You want to say, look, something happened to me. But let's just say hypothetically, something, the people, whoever the powers that be, did silence him and unalive him. Let's say hypothetically. I'm not saying I would like that to happen whatsoever. I definitely don't. But let's say that happened. There are so many ways to be like, well, 6 months ago after the BET Awards, Ray J went on a rant on Instagram, and then he went on this thing showing, looking like he was gonna jump off a cliff, whatever. They're going to say, if this, God forbid, happens, if anything, God forbid, happens to Ray J, they're gonna say he was mentally unstable and he was using drugs. That's what's gonna happen. Just like Kim Porter died of a pneumonia. I can't. And I also can't with Ray J and him talking about acids are being taken. So just on a lighter note, look, I'm going to share this because I just listen. It's so hella funny to me. Hold on. Oh,
Do you
I
chuckle?
can't with Ray J.
Robbed of not only their money
Why?
and their spirituality,
Why, Ray J?
they're getting robbed of their womanhood and manhood. Asses are being taken in ways that nobody can explain. Do you chuckle? Do you laugh?
Jesus help us.
Do you help? Do you criticize? Robbed of their womanhood and manhood. Asses are being taken in ways that nobody can explain. Do you chuckle? Do you laugh?
Who?
Do you help?
Told him to say this.
Do you criticize?
I can't.
Because I see a lot of jokes out there.
Oh God. Child. Ray J say asses are being taken. All right, so let's move on to Christian Combs. So Christian Combs has been served. My understanding is that he has been served with a lawsuit. And it's a sexual assault lawsuit. So Christian Combs, Diddy's son, sued for sexual assault. Now, I did another video on this when this news broke a few months ago, where this young lady was working on a yacht and she was part of the crew. And if you read, I believe it's in the lawsuit, but if you read what she wrote about what happened to her, it's pretty egregious. That she was basically harassed to drink and take shots, and Justin allegedly was touching her and trying to force her to give him a blowjob. And long story short, it seems like one of the other people on the yacht, I can't say if it was one of the people working on the yacht or if it was that one guy. Who's the guy that's suing Diddy that's like on the run? He was like helped him with that Love album. I forget his name. But that guy It was either the crew member or that guy walked in and kind of helped her out of that situation. It was one of them. I can't remember exactly. But I'm glad that she's suing him. And a lot of people are saying, well, you know, all of these people are suing now. You know, Cassie got her money, but all of these people are suing now. There's going to be no money left. Now, let me just say this. Diddy might not have no money left. Maybe, maybe not. I don't think he's going to have much left because his attorneys are going to bleed him dry. Penniless is what they're going to do. And he's going to pay it because he wants to get out of jail. He wants to do whatever he can to get out of jail. So he's going to continue to pay lawyers. And it won't matter what lawyer he pays. I don't think Diddy's getting out of jail. And if he does get out of jail, he's still going to be paying so he can stay out of jail. But I think that for the people who are like, well, I don't think that, you know, basically these 120 other victims, let's say, who are suing him, they're not going to have any money because they got to get in line. Well, if you're smart, just like if you go and read all of the names on Cassie's lawsuit, she didn't just sue Diddy. Be clear. She sued Diddy, Bad Boy, anything any name associated with Bad Boy, all of its subsidiaries, and every record label attached to Bad Boy. Every company attached to Bad Boy, basically everybody that knew that this man was running around the earth being an absolute savage and did nothing about it. In fact, gave the man more money and more things, more options, more influence, more power to go around and continue the savage behavior. That's what Cassie did. And I have to believe that any of these attorneys who are wanting to get this money, because most of them, I'm almost certain, are working for free, because it's like, you know, candy raining from the sky to the attorneys for multiple reasons. If they win even a small lawsuit, they get to say, yeah, we won part of that lawsuit with Diddy. We took down, that's what they're going to be able to say. And that's going to be enough for so many other people to believe that these people are successful. And then they can charge out the ass. I'm just giving you the tea for what it really is. And I'm not an attorney. And if you do need attorney advice, talk to an attorney, because I'm not one. Okay. That's just my opinion. I don't know any attorneys like that aside from my own attorney. Me and my husband have an attorney, but outside of that, I don't know. So, but this is the thing. Any attorney worth their salt in a civil case with a name that's big as Diddy and all of the people he's connected to, they're not going to just sue Diddy. Clearly, his lawyers that are on his case right now are all going to suck him dry. No pun intended. But they are going to sit and charge $1,000 an hour for all the litigators and all this, that, and the third. That's exactly what they've been doing. And that's exactly what they're going to do until this trial is over. And that's another reason Diddy wanted it to be a speedy trial. Don't get it twisted. He doesn't want it to be a speedy trial because he just believes in the process and he just needs to get to it. He wants to get out of jail. No, Diddy wants it to be a speedy trial because Diddy is shitting money. Like, he may as well have a fireplace in his cell and all his money stacked up right here, and he's just throwing it into the fire because they are not effective at getting him out. And I'm glad about that. I'm happy about that. So I don't think that it's true that Diddy's not going to have any money. Meaning, let me say it like this. I don't think it's true that the attorneys and their clients who are suing Diddy aren't going to be able to get anything because Diddy don't have any money or won't have any money to give. I don't believe that. I believe it doesn't matter what Diddy's going to have. Their attorneys are going to sue everybody and everybody associated with Diddy, meaning the people with the real money. And I'm just going to give you an example. I don't know if these people are associated with Diddy, but I'm going to give you an example. Bad Boy is a subsidiary of Arista Records, or was. Or I'll say, and again, I'm not saying this for certain because I don't know, but let's say Bad Boy is a subsidiary of Sony Music or whatever. Bad Boy has ties to Revolt TV, or Bad Boy has ties to, you know, this liquor brand or this, that, and the other, Sean John. If he has ties to all of these companies, if the attorneys are smart, they're going to sue all of those companies too. Because they're going to say, we said something, my client said something, then you guys are liable in some way or capacity. And guess what? A lot of those companies are going to just pay it out because they don't want to have what's happening to Diddy to happen to them, where they're associated, and then they got to clean up everything. They don't want to do that. So they'll just settle for, you know, whatever the small amount that the people will probably take because for them, they know trying to go through a long, lengthy trial that's probably going to end in a not guilty. It's not worth it. It's easier to just say, okay, we gave them $10,000, $100,000, $2 million, whatever it is, and so they can be on their way. And I ain't mad at that. Don't do shit if you don't want people to sue your ass and can prove it. Now, maybe you wouldn't be able to, Diddy wouldn't have to pay all of these other people out if he hadn't kept on his antics. You doing the shit for 30 years, you want to get caught. It's like those people that say, oh my God, she's trying to trap him and get a baby. Last time I checked, you can't fucking trap a man to get a baby. The last time I checked, he has to stick his dick in you. That's what has to happen. How are we trapping each other? Are you not doing it to me? Okay. Because any two people who are having unprotected sex are trying to get pregnant. I don't give a shit what y'all say. Period. Full stop. So me trying to trap you, fuck out of here with that bullshit. I know how to gotta try to trap you. You again, stop with this elitist ass attitude. Boy, bye. And then the women that go along with it, with their going against their own best interest. Yeah, she just trying to trap him. She knew this, that, and the third. Shut the fuck up. You cannot trap a man if he doesn't have a vasectomy and he's having sex with you unprotected. Stop it. There is no trapperization, honey. This feels good, and you're gonna let me nut in you. And that's what happened, and now there's a baby. And now I gotta pay you. Don't do dumb shit. What they say? How do they say? Play dumb trick, ask dumb questions, get dumb answers, or something like that. However it goes. Play stupid games, get stupid answers or stupid prizes. That's what I mean by that. Like, just use all of your brain. If you have the ability. But people want to do that because they want to say women are so dumb and stupid and we're so helpless that's all that we can think to do. I can't. But so yeah, this young man, listen. I believe he's guilty, but I wasn't there, so I don't know. But I believe that he's guilty because he's cocky as fuck, just like his daddy. Think about it. Look at what happened when they raided his dad's house, or whoever house that mansion's name is actually in, because it ain't Diddy. But when they raided that man's house, you making songs about it? You challenging the FBI in the Southern District of New York or the Homeland Security, whoever he was challenging, you challenging those people? You have to he has a reason to feel that way. His daddy has shown him for however long he's been alive. I think he's like late 20s or mid 20s. So however long he's been alive, he's a grown ass man though. But be clear, if you watch your daddy for 20 plus years get away with debauchery and savagery, if you've taken part or witnessed it, he's untouchable. So why would I have any fear? Well, Mr. Untouchable is not locked away in a prison cell. He's in a cage. And I'm not going to say that young man shouldn't support his dad because that's his dad. But I wouldn't. I can't. And the thing is, he's going to support his dad, especially if he has the same behavior. Think about it. Donald Trump wanted Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court. Kavanaugh, the Justice Kavanaugh now, has the same behavior that Donald Trump was being accused of. How many women have accused Donald Trump of sexual assault? Yeah, he's a prime example of what I mean when I say women are going against their own best interest. He has 20 plus women saying he sexually assaulted them. He got on tape on a bus and said that he can sexually assault women because he's famous and they let you do it. Right? He said it out of his own mouth. And then both of his campaigns, you have multiple women, hundreds of women sitting behind him with shirts on that said "Women for Trump." What are you saying to yourself? How low is your self-esteem? Your self-esteem has to be underneath the earth to support someone who basically says he's okay with sexually assaulting you and your daughter, your cousin, your mommy, your granny, and whomever else. Because it's okay because he's famous. How do you reconcile that with your soul? All of the women that support, pedophiles, I don't know how you support that. How do you reconcile that with your soul? How do you explain that to your daughter? Isn't your job to protect them? I already know what men's track record is, so I don't expect men to change. And I'm not saying all men are this way. Let's be very clear. I'm not saying that. I'm married to a man who's not like that. So I'm not saying all, because it isn't all. That wouldn't be fair. Plus, I don't know all. And there is no statistic that knows all. So I'm not saying that. But I am saying, why are you so protective over someone simply because they're famous, have a lot of money, and you like their music? How does that somehow disqualify them from being a savage? I liked all of R. Kelly's music. My auntie running around playing Your Body's Calling Me for a whole year in 1990. Love this music. Sex Me Part 1 and Part 2. Step in the Name of Love. Loved it all. Ignition, all of it. But at the end of the day, he's a pedophile. And he's a convicted one. So let's stop. It's interesting to me how people will turn themselves into all kind of pretzels to protect people that don't even know they exist. It's one thing to fight for a good cause, right? So if you're fighting for the cause on behalf of children that are, hungry, if you're fighting on behalf of people who are in poverty, if you're fighting on behalf of privileged communities, whatever, if you're fighting against, you're fighting for more money for research to help cure AIDS or whatever, if you're fighting for a good cause, something that's bigger than you, for the greater good, that's going to help society or eliminate or reduce some societal problem, then yeah, fight for people who don't even know your name. But how are you fighting for somebody who don't know your name, who's being accused of sexual assault by, at this point, hundreds of people? How are you fighting for the Donald Trumps of the world, for the Matt Lauers of the world, for the what's his name, Kevin Spacey's of the world, for the R. Kelly's of the world, the Bill Cosby's of the world, the Weinsteins, the Epsteins, the on and on and on. What is his name? Woody Allen, all of them. You could put all the makeup on a pig and dress them all up and put them in the pile of money. They're still a pig. Be clear. So if Justin did any of those things he's being accused of, he need to be in the same cage with his daddy. I said what I said. And it ain't changing over here. But I wonder, do you guys think that it's odd that Ashton Kutcher develops and helped create a whole agency called Thorn to combat human trafficking? And he seemingly was besties with Diddy? Y'all think that's a coincidence? Or do you think he really just didn't know? Or do you think he did know? Or do you think, like the lady suggested in the video, it's a cover? Could be. Y'all think what y'all think about Ray J being vandalized? Can't trust Ray J. Listen, he was all on Nicki Minaj live, and Nicki was eating him alive because he was being fake and phony and just trying to go viral. It's weird because I can't believe none of what you're saying if I can't believe all of what you're saying. I can't believe you, Ray J, because even though it's very possible someone vandalized his car, and it's very possible that it's the people who are like, shut the fuck up, talking about Diddy and whomever else, it's very possible. It's highly likely that it is. But because you got on TV, or not on TV, on Chris Cuomo's show a few months ago, basically talking about we can't do this to the culture, and we shouldn't be placing blame, and stop it, Ray J, knock the fuck off. See, it's those type of antics that make me say, when you get on this show, on a national show, where lots of eyeballs, especially white eyeballs, no shade to the white people, but you get on that type of show and you try to make all of the things that Diddy has done or being accused of doing about Black people, about Black men, about hip hop, about Black culture, this shit don't have nothing to do with us. This has to do with some man being a savage, period. It don't have nothing to do with Black men. It has to do with that Black man being a fucking savage. That's what it has to do with. It has to do with that Black man mistreating people, abusing his power, on and on and on, fill in the blank, being a fucking savage, as I said. So when you're on that TV show doing that, then you lost all of my respect. So you get what you get. Do I think those people should have a right to do it? No. And I would protect your right to make sure that people don't have the right to do it. But why are you whining about it? Because you was just protecting these quote unquote people a few months ago that you say are now doing you wrong. It's like, shut the fuck up, sit down somewhere and be quiet. You can't be trusted. You can't be trusted. I just need Brandy to come get your brother, girl. And the sad part is, I loved me some Ray J growing up. I was always like, Ray J is so cute. Now he looks like he's had a hard life. And the sad part is, he couldn't have had a hard life. Whatever life he had, if it was difficult, it was of his own creation. Because you was wanted to be in the entertainment business so bad, because your sister was so famous and so loved and sold millions of records and had millions of dollars. You needed that. You wanted that. And now look at you. What did you say last year? They threw you out of the BET Awards? Anyway. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Ray J. What y'all think about Ray J going and sitting down with Jamal Bryant, who... What Monique from Potomac Housewives say? He was swinging his big D around the church. That's who you need to go sit down with. I can't. It's just, you can't make this shit up. And what do y'all think about Christian Combs? Y'all think he gonna, his dad is gonna overshadow him and maybe he'll get off, or his dad will overshadow him and maybe because of that, he won't get off? I believe what the young lady said he did 100%, but I wasn't there, so I don't know. But that's what I believe. I believe every word of what she said in that lawsuit against Christian Combs. Every single word. Because I believe that's what he was taught by his daddy. I don't know if you guys seen that movie Blink Twice, but it seems an awful lot of like what is unfolding, meaning it seems as if everything in that movie is almost like the directors knew about this situation and just wrote it into a movie. Just go watch the trailer. I was like, ooh, it's interesting. But like I said, guys, I had surgery earlier today on my hand. So I'm going to go and take my pain medicine and get my life together and watch some TV or something and go to sleep. But thanks, guys, for tuning in to another episode of Chanel's Reality. Please hit that like button. I really would like to get to 1,000 subscribers by January 1st. So if y'all could subscribe, like my video, share my video, it would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, thanks again. Bye. Have a good night, guys. Have a good night. Have a good night, guys. I know I can't sing. It is what